When my biological parents stepped out of their Bentley, the last thing they expected was that their future heir would be clenching a cigarette between his teeth, hauling a metal rod, and squaring off in an alley with a pack of street punks. The moment they saw the dragon tattoo curling down my left arm and the white tiger tattoo prowling across my right, watching me swing that iron bar, knocking two guys flat at once, they panicked, instinctively shielding the fake young master in designer clothes who was hiding behind them. Chapter 1. No one could have imagined that a street punk like me, living in a cramped communal block, was actually the real young master of the listed Wang Corporation who got switched at birth. Nice one. Fate, you really know how to mess with people. In the muddy alley, Mr. and Mrs. Wang, dressed to the nines, stared at my bare, tattoo-covered back in utter disbelief. They edged a few steps away, still guarding the counterfeit heir behind them. Then the woman's voice trembled. Are you George Chan? I bit down on my cigarette, inhaled, blew a smoke ring, and nodded, already impatient. My little brothers glanced at one another, baffled. Boss, who are these people? Are we still throwing down? Of course we're throwing down, I answered. No sooner had I spoken than the elegantly dressed woman lunged forward to hug me, yet a flash of disdain crossed her eyes, and she stopped short. TCH, I've seen that look my whole life, she said. George, I'm your mother. My son, you're my real son. You've suffered out here for so many years, and at last I've found you. Her sudden outburst actually startled me, and when I glanced up, even the burly man beside her had tears in his eyes. The boy my own age behind them, however, went even paler. I had just raised a hand to push her away when a young woman behind her gave me a complicated look and said, George Chan, no. George Wang, I'm your older sister, Maria. 18 years ago our housekeeper, your current adoptive mother, let her greed run wild. Father let her give birth in Wang Hospital out of kindness. In the same ward as mom, her baby arrived right after you, and she actually had the nerve to swap the two of you. That's why you've been drifting outside all these years. So that's it. No wonder nothing I did as a kid ever pleased my mom. Thin summer blankets in winter while they feasted on rich food and I ate plain buns with watery porridge. Luckily, kind neighbors slipped me extra food while I was still growing, or I wouldn't be this tall today. Maria poured out every ugly detail. How vicious, how vain my adoptive mother was. The young man behind her turned chalk-white and burst into violent coughs. Only then did she realize what she'd said. She hurried to steady him, murmuring softly. Even my newly discovered parents, still clinging to my hands, rushed over to comfort him. Makoto, don't worry. This was her doing. Nothing to do with you. Once George comes home, you'll just have one more brother. You're still a Wang child, our child. How touching. Makes my eyes hurt. That very day, with all my neighbors and brothers gaping, I rode off in a luxury car worth tens of millions. The loud bunch sprinted after it, shouting, Boss, don't forget us when you hit it big. I rolled down the window and waved. Every Wang gaze on me held a trace of contempt and wariness. Heh, so you're done pretending, huh? Mr. Wang said. George, your mother and I really hope you'll cut ties over there. The Wang group's reputation is at stake. I laughed. Their reputation. When my adoptive dad shattered my leg, it was these brothers who scraped together my hospital bills. Sneering, I said, your reputation has nothing to do with me. My sister snapped. How can you talk to mom and dad like that? A moment ago she'd been all gentle with Makoto. Now she was lecturing me. I was about to answer when Makoto choked out. Brother, it's my fault. I stole your life and turned you into this. Sis, if someone deserves blame, blame me. Disgust rolled through me. A grown man sniveling. Spare me. Darn right it's your fault. I shot back. Quit the act. A man bawling his eyes out. Pathetic. The Wang family froze. For a moment, no one spoke. Mr. Wang gave Makoto a complicated look, as though half agreeing with me, and shook his head. I turned to the window, enjoying the passing scenery in silence. Much better. Makoto stopped sniffling, cheeks burning with embarrassment. Only after a long while did my so-called mother finally speak up. Chapter 2, she said. George, don't blame Makoto. He's always been sensitive and was afraid that if you came back, we'd cast him aside. He doesn't mean any harm. From now on, you two brothers should try to get along. Then came my sister, Maria, who acted like she really adored this little brother of hers. She frowned and warned me. Makoto's in poor health. You should stop saying such awful things. Fix those nasty habits of yours, smoking, drinking, fighting, and your grades are awful, too. Now that you're back, follow the Wang family rules. A proper Wang child should be like Makoto, polite, well-behaved, and academically outstanding. Guess she just said out loud what my parents had been thinking all along. They both nodded non-stop in agreement. I scratched my ear. Ugh, I really had no patience for this crap. Who exactly are they trying to belittle here? I asked. Hey sis, how old are you? I smiled and leaned in close to Maria. No doubt about it, Wang family genes were top tier. Maria had delicate features and a soft, elegant look. My sudden closeness made her face flush red. She stammered, 23, WY. I chuckled. 23, if I didn't know better, I'd think you were some 50-year-old aunt nagging like a broken record. Sis, how'd you start acting like a grumpy old housewife at 23? You. Maria was fuming, but I was feeling great. Even the fake young master tried to play peacemaker. Bro, it's okay. I can help you study. If there's anything you don't get, just ask me. Doesn't matter how many times. Mom and Dad bought me a ton of clothes and shoes I never wear. All new from this year. You can have them if you want. Just don't make them mad again. Alright. Try to stay away from those thugs. Listening to this sickeningly fake kindness, I was honestly speechless. The Wang family was clearly pleased with how considerate and mature he was being. Mrs. Wang patted Makoto's shoulder and said, Makoto, sorry you have to put up with all this. I flatly refused. Don't bother. Keep your stuff for yourself. Oh, and by the way, when your dear dad broke my leg and kicked me out at 15, it was those so-called thugs you looked down on who scraped together money for my treatment. When your mom wouldn't feed me, it was their mothers who took me in and raised me. And now you're here preaching at me like I should have been eating cake all along. You don't think that's just a little ridiculous? Everything I went through was thanks to you, my good little brother. The whole room went silent. Even the usually chattering Maria shut her mouth. Makoto had already stopped crying, his nails dug deep into his own palms. I sneered. You know why I got tattoos? Because my back is covered in scars from the beatings I took as a kid. I was ashamed. It disgusted me. Seeing their reactions made me feel even better. A dog raised in a mansion can bark all it wants, it still can't bite a wolf that crawled out of hell. I've got nothing to lose. Makoto, come at me alone. I'll destroy you. Come at me with backup. I'll take them all down too. The first thing the Wang family did after bringing me back was throw a lavish celebration. They said it was to honor my return, but how many of them were actually happy? I wasn't fooled. It was just another round of empty social niceties, all for the sake of business. That night, the Wangs booked an entire banquet hall floor, 50 tables in total. Every guest, from relatives to business partners, was invited. I had to admit, the Wang family really was loaded. They dressed me in a tailored suit and gave me a tie. They thought this would magically erase everything from my past, but I wasn't about to let that happen. Half an hour before the banquet began, I went and shaved my head down to a buzz cut. Still not enough, I added a small cross-shaped earring in my left ear. Even in a perfectly tailored suit, the streetwise swagger I carried couldn't be hidden. When Mr. and Mrs. Wang saw me, their faces went pale with shock. But they had no choice, they still had to invite me up on stage and introduce me to the guests. There are no real secrets in high society. The news that the Wangs had found their long-lost biological son had already spread like wildfire. But I bet they never expected the real Wang son to be such a troublemaker. Chapter 3. Down below the stage, Makoto and Maria were making their rounds, chatting and laughing like seasoned socialites. With an opportunity this perfect, I wouldn't be surprised if they were planning to trip me up later and make me look like a fool. Sure enough, the moment I stepped off stage, Makoto came over like he had me tracked with GPS. Holding a cocktail, he flashed a grin and said, Brother, let me introduce you to some of my friends. Mrs. Wang's eyes lit up with approval. She said, That's exactly right, Makoto. Your brother just got back. Everything's still new to him. Take him around. Let him get to know your good friends. George, go see what kind of crowd Makoto hangs with. He replied, Of course, Mom. But even as he spoke, his eyes locked on mine like a viper sizing up its prey, sharp, cold, and full of malice. Whatever trick you've got up your sleeve, bring it on. He led me over to a banquet table. Everyone there was a rich young heir or pampered daughter, and they all gave me the kind of look you'd reserve for something that didn't belong. I pulled out a chair, completely unfazed, and said, I'm George Chan, or rather, George Wang now. Nice to meet you all. Someone sneered. Poor is still poor. You can dress up in a suit, but you still reek of broke. Makoto immediately tried to smooth things over. Come on, Martin. It's my brother's first time at an event like this. Go easy on him. A girl beside him chimed in. Makoto, you're too nice. He's here to take your inheritance and you're still defending him. I cut in with a smile. What can I say? Makoto's real parents were poor, so poor they couldn't even afford meat. If they could see how well their baby swap scheme worked, I bet they'd be over the moon. After all, Makoto grew up used to the spotlight. Isn't that right? I took a sip of juice and chuckled at myself. Makoto's fists clenched, but he forced himself to stay calm. It's only fair, Makoto. You gave it to me first, I'm just returning the favor. Then someone else said, Let me tell you something, we don't care about birthright in this circle. It's all about connections. Makoto's one of us. You should go back to wherever you came from. They'd clearly heard from their families already. This so-called biological son didn't hold much power. The real one worth sucking up to was the fake. Makoto tried to defuse the tension again. Don't be like that. He's my brother. Come on, bro. Have a drink. He slid that same cocktail from before back toward me. I replied. Should I? I promised Mom, no drinking, no smoking. I'm supposed to be a good little angel just like you. Truth was, I already smelled the funny business in that glass. So this little prince actually stooped low enough to spike a drink. Makoto said. Bro, I get it now. It's all my fault. I don't blame you for not liking me. Man, how does he keep up this act? I said. All right then, I'll drink it. But only if you drink the exact same thing with me. I picked up a different cocktail from the table and handed it to him. After watching me down mine in one gulp, he finally took a sip of his own. A few more drinks in, my head started spinning. I leaned toward Makoto's ear and whispered. Makoto, I feel so dizzy. I'm gonna go upstairs to rest. Makoto smirked. He thought he'd won. Bro, I'll take you up. I've got a room key. He helped me walk, and I could feel his body heat rising. When we got to the room, he took out the key card and opened the door. But right at that moment, he froze, like he realized something too late. Before he could react, I shoved him inside and slammed the door shut behind him. Makoto, if you were trying to set me up, then this is karma. And if you weren't, well, then just enjoy a long nap. Chapter 4. I was, in fact, faking the whole drunken act. A few cocktails, please, those went down like water for me. Back when I first sat down, I had already swapped the drugged drink with a normal one while no one was looking. Then, after Makoto insisted multiple times that I drink, I handed the special treat right back to him. My dear little brother, you couldn't even wait one day before trying to take me down. With a temper like that, how are you going to keep up the game later on? Sure enough, not long after, seductive sounds began drifting out from the room. I smirked, just as I thought. Real dirty tricks. Huh. Wouldn't surprise me if his so-called buddies were already on their way with their parents to bust in and catch us in the act. It was going to be quite the show. I went downstairs and hid in a quiet corner where no one would notice me. From there, I watched everything unfold. His little clique exchanged knowing glances. Someone said loudly, "Hey, where did Makoto and George go? Oh no, do you think George might be beating him up or something?" That one sentence drew a whole wave of attention. Mr. and Mrs. Wong, along with Maria, came rushing over. The other rich kids' parents followed too. Maria demanded, "What's going on? Say it clearly." She sounded genuinely nervous. With how fragile Makoto was, how many punches could he even take from George? Martin spoke up. George said he was drunk, so Makoto took him upstairs to rest. But it's been a while and they haven't come back. We're just worried, that's all. He recited the story he and Makoto had rehearsed, word for word. Mr. and Mrs. Wong exchanged a look. Maybe we should go check, they said. What if something really did happen? Since the party was held in my honor, they still had to put on a show of concern. If word got out that they played favorites, it would be a PR disaster. All the rich kids insisted on going up too, dragging their parents along. Even though their parents didn't really get why their kids were so worked up, they knew better than to disrespect the Wong family. And so it began. Mr. and Mrs. Wong, Maria, a group of second-generation elites, and their well-dressed parents marched upstairs en masse. I followed right behind, curious to see just how far this charade would go. When we reached the second floor, the hallway was completely empty. Mr. Wong asked, "Martin, are you sure they came up here?" Martin started to panic a little. Makoto had promised to wait in the hallway once they heard the commotion. Where the hell was he? Trying to stay cool, Martin replied. "Yes, Uncle, maybe we just need to go a bit farther down." They walked on. Finally, at the end of the corridor, they reached a room. From inside, unmistakable sounds could be heard. The door was slightly ajar. The adults' expressions all changed. Someone snapped, "Outrageous. Who the hell can't even wait for a proper moment?" The entire floor had been reserved for guests to rest in. Whoever was inside had to be someone from the party. Mr. Wong looked a bit embarrassed and muttered, "Let's just go." Maybe they went to the bathroom. But Martin spoke up. "No, it's definitely George in there." He still didn't understand why Makoto was missing. But the scene in front of them matched their plan exactly. "Martin, don't talk nonsense," his father scolded, starting to panic. It was true that George wasn't well liked. But this involved the Wong family's reputation. Martin insisted, "Dad, I'm not lying. I was with Makoto and..." He caught himself just in time and shut his mouth. "Open the door and we'll see," another of Makoto's cronies said. Now the Wongs were stuck. No easy way out of this. Maria seemed convinced I was the one inside. Frowning, she muttered, "Disgraceful. Just got back and already dragging the Wong family's name through the mud." And right then, I called out from behind them, "Maria." Chapter 5. What a brilliant performance. I stepped out from the shadows and asked, "What's with the crowd? What's everyone looking for?" Martin looked stunned. George, aren't you supposed to be in that room? What are you doing here? Clearly, he was still too young and impulsive, just like Makoto, couldn't keep his cool under pressure. I smiled and asked, why would I be in the room? Martin, what exactly are you implying? Mr. Wong's expression darkened. Where's Makoto? He demanded, trying to intimidate me. Not happening, I replied. You mean my brother? One of the servers spilled a drink on me, so I went to the restroom to clean up and to sober up a bit. He said he'd wait for me upstairs. No one's in the room. Wasn't the door open? Go on, open it and see. I played dumb, resting my hand on the doorknob. Mrs. Wong panicked and grabbed my hand, but too late. The once cracked door now swung wide open. The noises inside became even more unmistakable. The room was pitch black, so I helpfully turned on the light for them. You wanted to see, right? Then go ahead and feast your eyes. The scene was so over the top, I didn't even want to look myself. Makoto, still foggy-headed, was being dragged out. Whatever drug he took must have been strong. By the time he came to his senses, only the Wong family remained in the room. As the memories came rushing back, Makoto panicked. He shouted, Dad, Mom, let me explain. It was him. It was George. He drugged me. I wouldn't have done this otherwise. Arms crossed, I sneered, still trying to twist the story. Huh? Too bad. Little brother, your plan backfired. Mr. Wong glanced at me, then at the humiliated, half-naked Makoto. He clenched his jaw, turned around, and slapped Makoto across the face. You're still lying. Makoto, how did I never see what a manipulative little snake you are? Makoto was stunned. Dad, what are you talking about? Mr. Wong let out a cold laugh. Cut the act. Martin already spilled everything. We even have footage of you spiking the drink. What else do you have to say? Makoto hadn't expected to be exposed this fast. He broke down. Dad, I was scared. I was afraid you'd throw me away now that my brother is back. I didn't want to go back to my biological parents. You too, you're my real mom and dad. Now that was a better performance. Maybe this time, the fear was actually real. Mrs. Wong sobbed. Makoto, you foolish boy. She hugged him tightly. Mr. Wong, furious, snapped. This is all because you spoiled him rotten. Honestly, I thought that after such a disgraceful stunt, the Wongs would kick Makoto out for good, but once again, I underestimated their bond. Besides that one slap, Makoto faced zero consequences. After that, though, he did start keeping a low profile. We stayed out of each other's way and had peace for a while. One day over dinner, I casually asked, so, what are you planning to do about my adoptive parents? That single sentence changed the atmosphere immediately. Everyone's expression shifted. Mrs. Wong laughed awkwardly. George, how about letting it go? After all, they are Makoto's biological parents. And they did raise you for 18 years. That's still something, right? I let out a cold laugh. Raised me? You want to call that grace? You see the scar on my forehead? Got that at 8 years old. His father smashed a bottle over my head. This one on my leg, boiling water. His mother poured it on me when I was 10. They starved me, froze me in winter, forced me to do all the housework, used me as a punching bag. If that's what you call gratitude, why don't you let Makoto go live with them for a while? I slammed my chopsticks down and stood up. I'm no saint. I'm a devil who crawled out of hell, and I'd love nothing more than to drag them down with me. Mrs. Wong, now in tears, said, George, I didn't know. I really didn't know you'd suffered that much. Don't worry, I'll make sure you get justice, I promise. Chapter 6, I said, Mom, since I'm already back, won't my adoptive parents be pitiful all alone? Why not let Makoto stay with them? They've been apart 18 years, surely they miss their dear son. Still sniffling, Mrs. Wong agreed at once. All right, whatever you say. We'll send Makoto over in a few days. Makoto panicked. Mom, no, I can't go back. They'll beat me. How could they? I soothed. Makoto, they hit me because I wasn't their real kid. You're their precious baby. Trust me, your mom will roll out the red carpet dinners. And if things really get rough, look up my crew. Those brothers of mine will have your back. I patted his shoulder, warning implicit. Seeing I wouldn't drop it, Mr. Wong nodded. Don't worry, Makoto, you're my son. I won't let anyone bully you. Go on home. Realizing the decision was made, Makoto stopped arguing and began silent calculations. Mom, Dad, I understand. I've been intruding on your family reunion. I'll leave in a few days. There he went again, made me itch to kick him. Mr. Wong's heart softened. We'll set you up with an apartment and 200,000 yuan, so you won't suffer. How generous. That night I finished last year's university entrance exam practice exam and looked at my perfect score. The knot in my chest loosened a little. As a kid I always aced tests, until my adoptive mother started hitting me for every first place. The higher I scored, the harder she swung. Took me years to figure it out. I learned to hide my edge and purposely rank dead last. Sure enough, no more beatings. But I loved studying. I devoured books in secret. Saved every coin for second-hand texts. Outwardly I was a street punk. Privately I vowed to reach a top university. Schools near the communal block were weak, but Mr. Wong has transferred me to the elite academy Makoto attends. The teachers there really know their stuff. I still play dumb, sleep through class, skip homework, yet I master everything. On the monthly exam I dutifully held my throne, dead last. Makoto, of course, stayed top of the chart. 2 Stark report cards made Mrs. Wong waver again. 1 brilliant, well-raised foster son, 1 battered, seemingly hopeless blood son. George, could we not have Makoto move out? You know what his parents are like, his grades will crash if he lives with them. Fine, I said. Give me $3 million and an apartment, and I'll move out instead. I won't take another cent of Wong money. Makoto switched to pity play. Mom, I'm fine. I'll study hard and get into Peking University. I snorted and went upstairs. After late night study I came down for water. The kitchen lights were still on. Makoto stood there, mask off, fangs out. Everything in the Wong family is mine. He hissed. If you're smart, you'll crawl away. Ooh, I'm trembling. And if I'm not smart? I asked, turning to leave. Didn't expect it. Makoto's a real psycho. Chapter 7. He actually tipped the kettle of boiling water straight onto his own leg. Lunatic, I muttered. A beat later he launched into his one-man drama, yelling, Bro, I'm already leaving. Why are you still doing this to me? He was loud enough to wake the whole house, no doubt the goal. I laughed. Gotta admit, you're ruthless to yourself. Mrs. Wong burst in. What happened? Makoto, your leg. The scald was already blistering. Her heart practically snapped. Makoto croaked. Mom, don't blame brother. He just lost his grip for a second and spilled it. Smack. Her slap landed on me. What's wrong with you? Grown men can't even hold a kettle. Look what you did to my precious boy. I frowned. He staged this himself. Stop slandering me. Like she'd believe that. Who'd scald himself on purpose? Makoto added. Mom, I owed this burn. Brother got scalded once. It's only fair I repay it. Oscar-worthy performance. Mrs. Wong rushed him to the Wong Private Hospital. Doctor, use the best medicine. Make sure my son has no scar. Yeah, that chilled me. A drifter like me has no roots here. Next day the Wongs came back from the hospital. The moment Mrs. Wong saw me she looked ready to flay me alive. Get out. Right now. Ever since we brought you home. Nothing but trouble, you jinx. She swung at me. Mr. Wong stayed cooler. With a sigh he set documents on the table. Here, a 2-bedroom flat and 1 million yuan. Consider it compensation for those years. After this, let's cut ties. I sneered. Fine. I'll go. But first, watch this. I flipped on the TV. The screen played the footage I'd loaded. A servant's room sat next to the kitchen. I'd paid her off. She'd filmed Makoto threatening me and dousing his own leg. While they processed that, I pocketed the house keys and bank card and walked out, as if I coveted this dump. Back to the communal block I went. Susan and her husband were gone, probably off gambling again. I'd left in a rush last time and never took my stuff. Rummaging through drawers, I finally dug out my household registration booklet and ID card. On my 18th birthday Susan had been eager to kick me off their registry, then hid the papers to keep me under her thumb. Unexpected bonus, at the very bottom lay a craft envelope, inside, a paternity test. One quick scan and, well, things just got even more interesting. Only a month remained before the university entrance exam. I quit school entirely, holed up in the flat, revising day and night. The Wongs rang a few times. I ignored them. Eventually they stopped. Word was Makoto's burn was bad, couldn't walk, couldn't attend classes. The Wongs hired private tutors to teach him in the hospital. Let's see what that top student scores when cheating isn't an option. Really, the Wongs have been mistaking fish eyes for pearls. Exam day arrived. Other kids had parents escorting them. I had my crew running interference. At the gate, that flashy Bentley with matching plates rolled up, my bio parents bringing Makoto. His leg was still bandaged. He sat in a wheelchair, self-inflicted. Mrs. Wong and I locked eyes. She looked like she wanted to say something. I couldn't be bothered, walked straight through the school gates. Chapter 8. Push his wheelchair for him. Keep dreaming. 2 days flew by. While I waited for the results, I was busy developing my own app. I had to get stronger fast, only then could I take revenge and live my life on my own terms. Is this George Chan? We're calling from Peking University. Are you interested in applying to our school? Early that morning, I got a call from none other than Peking University. I had actually scored the highest in the entire province. Everyone was stunned. The moment I turned on my phone, messages flooded in like a tidal wave. Then the doorbell rang. I opened it. Standing there was Mr. Wong. He said, "Come home with me." I frowned and replied, "Sir, I believe we're no longer related, are we?" What? Did he think I was a dog he could summon and dismiss at will? George, still mad at Dad. Come on, Son, if you're this talented, how come you always used to come in dead last? I smiled and said, that was just to make Makoto look better. Didn't want him crying just because he couldn't outscore me. At that, Mr. Wong rubbed his nose awkwardly and muttered that Makoto didn't even make it past the first-tier university cutoff this time. What a disappointment, I said. There's no room for two tigers on one mountain. I'm perfectly fine living on my own. But if someone tries to pin their mess on me again, I might not be able to hold back next time. Mr. Wong quickly assured me, don't worry, I've already sent him away. Just come home. Your mom and sister have everything ready to welcome you. Fine. Let's see what kind of act you all are putting on this time. Sure enough, when I got back, Makoto was gone. Mrs. Wong was overjoyed to see me. She said, George, you really are your mother's son, so promising. Come on, I made all your favorite dishes. Have a taste. Looking at the table full of spicy prawns and steamed crab, I put down my chopsticks and chuckled. I'm allergic to seafood. Pretty funny that you don't even know which son likes what. The moment I said that, Mrs. Wong clearly looked embarrassed. She stammered. My mistake. Totally my mistake. Come, try the sweet and sour ribs instead. We've already fixed up your room. The master bedroom on the second floor. That tiny room you had before just won't do. See, knowledge really does change your fate. Now I understood. They wanted to use my provincial top score to hype up their family name and help list the Wong Group on the stock exchange. Disgusting. And I wasn't going to give them what they wanted. That whole meal was nothing more than a setup, a classic Hongman banquet. I said politely, Uncle, Auntie, thank you for the meal. Now that I'm finished, I'll be taking my leave. I played the part of the perfect guest, just how they'd like me to be. The moment they heard me call them Uncle and Auntie, their faces changed. Mrs. Wong said, George, are you still holding a grudge? I already sent Makoto away. What more do you want? What more do I want? Nothing. Really, just the complete downfall of your entire family. Right on cue, Makoto returned. Mom, Uncle Marco said you told me to come home later. Did something happen? The moment Mrs. Wong saw him, her expression turned stiff. Of course, they were putting on a whole performance for me. I said, well, since we're all here, let me give you a little surprise. Mrs. Wong beamed. She had no idea what was coming. I pulled out the paternity test from my bag and laid it on the table. Mrs. Wong opened it, and the more she read, the darker her expression became. She exploded. Pablo, you bastard. She was practically shooting flames out of her eyes. Makoto jumped in to calm her. Mom, what's going on? Don't let him mess with your head. Makoto knew, out of everyone, Mrs. Wong loved him the most. But what if she found out he was actually Mr. Wong's illegitimate child? That's right. Turns out, Makoto was the result of a drunken night between Mr. Wong and their housekeeper. At the time, Mrs. Wong had taken Maria and returned to her parents' home. The housekeeper took advantage of the situation, and afterward, even blackmailed Mr. Wong. So yes, Mr. Wong had always known Makoto was biologically his son. Chapter 9. Mrs. Wong was furious. All this time, she had been raising the love child of her husband's mistress. And worse, she had hurt her own biological son just to protect that woman's child. Maria, sensing something was off, grabbed the paternity report from the table. The moment she saw it, her face turned stormy. Dad, you've known all along, haven't you? She said. The report had been done when Makoto was 5 years old. I smirked. Oh, that's not all. Makoto has known about his real background for a while too. I was loving the drama. Let it blow up. Let everything blow up. Makoto quickly denied it. And no, you're lying. I didn't know anything. I replied. Really? So you're saying the guy who's been sending her 100,000 a year wasn't you? At that, Mrs. Wong looked like the punchline of a cruel joke. She gritted her teeth. Unbelievable. The two of you really are something else. Mr. Wong just gave up pretending and snapped. So what do you want? Divorce? Puffed. In your dreams. Mrs. Wong spat. You're going to draft a will right now making sure that bastard gets nothing. Otherwise, I'll make every filthy little thing you've done public. Her trembling finger jabbed toward Makoto's nose. Her expression refreshed like hitting F5, instant update in a second. Yesterday he was her precious son, and today he was scum. I had no interest in getting dragged into their emotional mess. While the chaos raged on, I slipped away and headed home. Still, I had to admit, Mrs. Wong had some serious moves. She must have collected a ton of evidence beforehand. Only because of her lingering attachment to Makoto had she held back. Now, with a single legal document, she dragged that scheming maid into court. She even paid a visit to her drunkard husband, handed him a chunk of money, and laid everything bare. He said, now it makes sense. No wonder that woman never wanted kids with me. Turns out she was just biding her time. Don't worry, sis, that brat won't have it easy under my roof. And so Makoto's hell mode began. After living 18 years as a pampered rich boy, he suddenly dropped to rock bottom. With his soft hands and delicate skin, he wasn't built for hardship. Not only did his biological father beat him daily, he also had to endure mockery from my little brothers. It wasn't long before the stress broke him. Meanwhile, I made my decision and enrolled at Peking University. That summer, I gathered a team, and the app 1 led the development unofficially launched. During this time, Mrs. Wang came to my door repeatedly, begging me to come back. I had no choice but to pull out the document she signed to sever all ties. I said, "Ma'am, I believe we truly have no connection anymore. You never had any real affection for me. When you brought me back, all you cared about was the Wang Group's image and profit. Did you ever care about how I survived those 18 years? So let's not pretend we shared some deep mother-son bond. I'm not sentimental. You should go home. As for this apartment and the 1 million yuan, I'm keeping them. Consider it repayment for what you owe me." I didn't expect that the very next day, news of the Wang Group's scandal exploded across the media. The stock price plummeted. Forget about going public, those plans were dead in the water. The source of the leak? None other than Mrs. Wang herself. Guess she finally realized how absurd everything had become and decided to torch it all. The marriage she'd worked so hard to protect for half a lifetime. The family facade she maintained so carefully. It all went up in smoke. The Wang family went bankrupt. Mr. Wang divorced Mrs. Wang over the scandal, and the two parted on ugly terms. Maria lost all her arrogance and air of superiority. Karma, as they say, never misses. The seeds you sow today may become the fruit you choke on tomorrow. None of it had anything to do with me anymore. I was reborn. Bro, you sure you want to get a butterfly tattoo? That's kinda girly. One of my little brothers ran a tattoo shop. Good technique, but not great taste. When I told him I wanted a butterfly inked on my shoulder blade, everyone gave me weird looks. Another brother chimed in. "Doggy, what do you know? This is a symbol." Wang Bro's breaking out of his cocoon. Suffering ends, and he's flying free, I said. "This is my design. You better replicate it exactly." I handed over the sketch I'd stayed up all night drawing. Doggy was great at following instructions, but design. Let's just say I wasn't about to trust his fashion sense. He nodded. "You got it, bro. Just wait and see." And just like that, the butterfly broke free, and left beauty in its wake.